The battle for 2024 is intensifying as a Trump super PAC is filing an ethics complaint against Ron DeSantis. It claims the Florida governor is waging a shadow presidential campaign, alleging he violated state ethics laws by accepting illegal campaign contributions and going on a book tour, all while not officially declaring a presidential bid. Team DeSantis calls the complaint a frivolous and politically motivated attack. So joining us now, Nichole Berlie, White House columnist with our partners at The Hill. Nichole, great to speak with you. As we all know, Trump has not been shy in his attacks really on anyone, certainly not on Ron DeSantis. But this is probably the most significant escalation we've seen, at least so far. This is an official ethics complaint. It was submitted to the state. But will anything actually come out of it? Or is this more about Trump sending a message to both DeSantis as well as to voters?
I think the second option pretty clearly, Nichole. I don't expect anything to come out of this, and not only because Governor DeSantis appointed 5 of the 9 members of this ethics commission, but what this is really about, big picture, is the Trump allies throwing a stone at DeSantis that happens to have an ethics complaint wrapped around it. If you read the complaint, some of the reasoning is a little bit convoluted, honestly. But it gets the words Ron DeSantis and ethics investigation into headlines. And that's really the purpose. The Trump allies trying to muddy up Governor DeSantis after what they consider rose-tinted media coverage.
All right, so now, most candidates at this point have not even declared their candidacy. We're still very early in this election cycle. But are we potentially on the cusp of the most aggressive and contentious primary season we've ever seen?
Oh, certainly. I mean, obviously, we've had many such seasons in the past, but this could be even more heated and fractious than before. I think one of the reasons is you have to look at the stakes here. Republicans really fancy their chances in 2024, so they could be playing for all the marbles in the primary. Then on top of that, look at the stakes for these two men if Governor DeSantis enters the race. If he were to beat former President Trump, that's game over for Trump. That's end of career. If Trump were to beat DeSantis, that would very severely damage DeSantis's reputation, even for future runs that he might seek to make. So when the stakes are that high, there are going to be no punches pulled.
That's right. And we were just taking a look at some of the numbers there, Nichole, just a moment ago. And there's this new Quinnipiac poll. It shows Trump has an 11-point lead over DeSantis. And that's just in a hypothetical matchup, obviously, because, again, DeSantis has not even declared. But how do you think these repeated attacks from Trump, there's now this new filing from the super PAC, how are they impacting voters' perceptions of both men?
They're really all about Republican voters who haven't quite made up their mind about Ron DeSantis. If you look at the poll you cited and others, one of the key differences between Trump and DeSantis is that there are a few more Republican voters who just have not formed an opinion of DeSantis yet. With Trump, impressions are set in concrete. So on one hand, DeSantis has the opportunity to grow if he makes a favorable impression, but there's also the capacity for the Trump team to damage him, to foster negative impressions. And that's what these kind of attacks are about. They're about eroding DeSantis's standing with voters who are still in the middle ground within a Republican primary.
Yeah, things are heating up, and it's only the middle of March, or the Ides of March. All right. Thank you, Nichole. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.